Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel for this monthly update for July 2020. In today's video, we're gonna go into my portfolio. I'm gonna show you what I did this month, what did I buy, what did I sold, and what did I do with my money overall. And then we're gonna speak about the coronavirus situation in the US because it's getting worse, even though I didn't think it could be worse than what it was. If you don't know, I'm actually in Europe, so I have another perspective about what's going on right now. So we're gonna speak about that. I'm gonna compare Europe and the US to see what difference do they have and what do they have in common, and then we're gonna go into the dividend. Without any further ado, let's go. Okay, first off, I'm gonna go on my phone and show you actually what my portfolio looks like right now. Okay, so this is a graph for the latest 30 days, so the last month or so. You can see I was about maybe 9% down. Right now I'm about less than 4% down, so a big up into my portfolio. 5% gain in just 1 month is pretty great. As you can see, as always, I added $1,000 into the portfolio. You can see if we look at the last year, I've been pretty much in the red all the time, except at the very beginning.
It is what it is.
Before the coronavirus situation exploded, this was actually in January, I believe, and you can see since February I was pretty much all the time in the red, and sometimes about 30% down, and now I'm only 3.9% down, so the situation is getting better. I'm happy. If you don't know, I aim for dividend payments every month or every 4 months so that I build a passive income stream that will be as great as a salary, for example. So I'm not really that focused on market returns. So if I'm down 3% or I'm at 4%, I don't really care. The thing for me is that the companies that I buy, I want them to pay me every 4 months or every 2 months or whatever, so that I can build this passive income flow and have money that go into my pocket even though I'm not doing anything with it. In a minute or so I will show you on my computer my dividend income, my planned dividend income for the year, which is growing each month, so that's pretty cool. So if I scroll down, you can actually see that a lot of those companies are still in the red and a few of them are actually in the green. Some of them actually really bad. Like if you compare ExxonMobil, you can see that it's really down. I bought just before the big drop, which is a shame, but I mean that was just the timing. I could not do anything about this. Same with Kinder Morgan. If we go into Max, well, I was before the second drop, so that was alright. And then if you go, Moderna, I invested into them because they are actually working on a vaccine. I was in the green a few days ago, so I'm gonna hold this company. I believe there is a way to make some money on them, so I'm just gonna hold this investment. And now if we go to Danger, for example, look at that. That was just bad luck, I guess. I believe this is a great stock, but as all the stocks that I own, they all got hit super hard and some of them are still really down. So Tanger Outlets is a REIT, so they're all into real estate investments, and well, real estate is not doing as great as it could be because of the corona situation. So I don't blame them, that's not their fault, it's because of the situation. And you can see Wells Fargo, I'm down a lot, but you can see I average my way down to about $30 for each share that I own of them, which is pretty great. I believe the company right now is a bit undervalued, but because of everything that's going on in the world and in all those banks, that's normal. They got hit super hard just as all the banks did, and right now I'm just waiting for them to come back. They still pay the dividends, which is about 8.3%, which is really high, so it's not sustainable. The price of the share will have to go up again and the company will have to make some more money because I want them to be able to pay these dividends. If they don't pay these dividends anymore, well, I'm gonna have to sell out of them. But yeah, overall my portfolio is doing okay, it's doing better and better each month, so I'm really looking forward for the future, especially in the long term. I want this corona situation to be over and see the end of the tunnel, so I can see where I'm going with these investments, because right now, since I started until now, the corona was here. So you can imagine for a new investor, it's strange. I never had a bull run in my entire investing career, if we can call this. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to see what the future will look like. I'm really happy with everything that's going on. I maybe will have to change some things in my portfolio so that it looks a little bit better, so I prefer what I'm doing with it. But overall right now, I'm pretty happy with it. Okay. Now we're gonna speak about the corona situation in the US. If you don't know, actually the first ever video that was uploaded to this channel was about the coronavirus and how it was spreading in the world and how it was affecting the markets. Because if you remember, at the very beginning, people were so scared of the virus that everything dropped in a few days. And this was a big thing for me since I just started investing, and that was actually my first ever monthly update on this channel. So if you want to go and look at it, it's It's absolutely terrible, so don't go look at it. It's only a screen recording, I'm speaking over it. I'm not comfortable in camera at all, so just stay here for now. As you can see on the screen right here, the United States have more than 4 million cases. I mean, they had overall 4 million cases. Right now, 2 million of them are recovered, and there is almost 150,000 deaths, which is a lot. That's quite a bit of people that died because of the virus. And still, if you are in the second wave, you can imagine that a lot more people will actually die from this illness. And if you actually subscribe to the channel for a long time, you actually saw this thing right here. This map that I showed, I think, twice already in my monthly updates. And yeah, things are changing really fast, and it's not getting better. You can see more than 15 million people infected, and actually that's not everyone, since some people don't have any symptoms, so these people are not counted here. But if you look here, the US have obviously the first one to be in the list because they have so many cases. Then there's Brazil, India, and Russia. Of course, these are not active cases. If we want to see how many people are actually infected to the countries, we can go here in active cases. And yeah, it's a little bit different. You can see, for example, in France right next to me, there is 106,000 people infected. I live here, if you don't know. I live in Switzerland, which we only have 1,600 people. We had a big spike at the beginning of the epidemic because we're so close to Italy, where they had such a big impact of the virus. So we had quite a bit of infected here, but now you can see we have more than 30,000 people that recovered from the illness and only 16,000 that still has it. So I'm not saying that the US did something bad or did something wrong, but it kind of is the case. There only is a few countries in which a second wave actually occurred, which is, I believe there is the US, Mexico, and Brazil. Mexico and Brazil, I believe, don't have a lot of regulations on what they have to do in the country, but the US had. The government said that you guys had to stay home and yeah, avoid everything. And you also had a stimulus check, which if you use the argument of, yeah, but we're not getting money, you had the stimulus check. So I believe this argument is kind of outdated. For us, for example, in Europe, in the middle of the pandemic, we had to stay home, but we were getting paid a certain percentage of our actual salary, depending on if we work still, if we work 1 or 2 days a week, or if we still don't work at all. But with everything that happened with the Black Lives Matter movement, and also because people were not actually ready to be quarantined in the US, you had these big manifestations, those big protests outside. And yeah, I believe this didn't help at all for the corona cases in the US. Okay, here is a great example that I found. Look at this graph. At first you had here the first wave. This was in Europe, the strongest wave that we had. People were getting infected, people got scared, everybody was on lockdown. And then things started getting better. But around this time, there has been so many protests all around the US that, of course, people started going out again and were not respecting the lockdown. So look what happened. It was even worse, and way worse actually, than the first wave. You have about 70,000 new cases per day. This is more than twice the amount we had in Switzerland overall. Like, we had 30,000 overall. And you guys are having about 70,000 cases per day. This is huge. And people don't realize that it's huge and it's bad. Also, that's a strange situation for me, since I pretty much only invest into the US market because there is a lot of options to choose from, and I believe that the best companies can be found there. But at the same time, I don't really agree with everything that was going on. I believe that people should have just followed the rules. But who am I to judge? I don't live in the US, I don't know how you guys' situation is. But yeah, pretty much the situation between Europe and the US had been really different. We didn't get a second wave, which I'm really happy about. And I'm also frustrated because since I only invest in the US, well, my investments didn't do good, even though in my country and in Europe in general, things were getting way better. But I guess we'll see in the future. It will take a little bit longer for the US to actually recover from this, and yeah, we'll see in the future how everything will do. Let's now jump into my dividend income, because as you can see here, last month I got about $12.1 worth of dividend payments, which is great. I like it. It's a little bit lower than last month, but I don't really mind if it's lower one month than the other, because I know that in December, for example, this is the time where the most dividend are getting paid, and in January it's the lowest. It will always move up and down. It will not depend on which company I own, it's when they pay. And you can see here the growth pretty much is great. I like it. And if we continue like this, I believe that by the end of the year, I will be about to earn between $25 and $30 in dividend per month, which is pretty great since I invest $1,000 every month, and that I'm a new investor. I believe that's a great return over such a short period of time. And if you guys don't know about compound interest, well, in the future, those dividend payments, I always reinvest them into companies that I already own, which will make them pay me more dividend that I will reinvest and get more dividend and reinvest. So over a long period of time, this is actually really profitable. Right now it's growing at a slow pace, but it will accelerate each and every year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the future, what it will look like. I wish I could just time travel and see in like 10 years what this would look like. And here is the graph about the sector I invest in. You can see there are 4 main sectors in which I invest mostly. It's telecom services, healthcare, financial, and the last one is consumer discretionary. I like this split of my investments, but there is one thing that I wish I had more, and it's technology. You can see I only have about 1.9% of my portfolio into technologies, and I wish I had more. I wish I had more technology, because I believe that these kind of companies actually are the future. They will do so great in the future. Like if you look at Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, these companies have a real potential to be something huge. So what I'll do in the next month is that I will start maybe focusing a little bit more onto the tech sector, because I believe there is so much value in here. And yeah, that's what I will do. I will invest more into technologies. Now, what did I do this month? What companies did I buy and which did I sell? Which did I move? What did I do? So if we go into the graph of diversification, you can see I have a few big holdings that are some main parts of my portfolio. I have Wells Fargo, and here is AT&T. These are the 2 companies in which I focused this month. I believe I bought about 21 shares of Wells Fargo and about 17 shares of AT&T. These 2 companies, I believe, are a little bit undervalued, especially Wells Fargo. I believe in the future they'll do great, but AT&T is not really undervalued. I believe it's more like fair value, but they have such a big dividend payment. I think it's about 7%, that for me it's really great to invest into AT&T, and I wish that I have more shares of them. It's actually not that fair of a price. It's a little bit lower than fair price, which is why I bought so many of them. In the next month, I will probably focus more on technologies, as I said. And if you guys have any suggestions in the comments down below, let me know which technology company that pays a dividend I should be interested in for next month. Now, if you came all the way to here, let me know in the comments down below a question that you would like me to answer. It can be about dividend, can be about investing, can be about personal finance, it could be about me. Any questions that you want to ask me, leave in the comments down below, and you'll maybe be featured in the next monthly update for next month. So let me know down below in the comments a question that you want me to answer. Go check out the rest of the playlist if you're interested into seeing how my portfolio evolved during the last 6 or 7 last month. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And I'll see you guys next week for another video. Bye bye.